and welcome back to another episode of VanillaTyme. It's me, Steph, and I am in a box right now. Yeah, I went mining, and I was digging myself out, and I found a bunch of diorite. And today's episode, we are going to be needing a lot of diorite, so figured on my way out, let's just pick up a little bit of this. And while I'm doing this, I figured I might as well talk about what today's build is going to be. I'm going to be working on a building to cover up the iron farm and the villager breeder. And to that effect, I'm going to need to build a pretty large build that can both go over the top of the villager breeder and also surround the entire perimeter of the iron farm. So I'm going to need about a shulker box of diorite, give or take, maybe a little bit more. So yeah, that's why we're here right now. I was doing some cave lighting earlier. That's actually why I was down in the mines to begin with. Just because that's what you do on a server. You want to cut down on the mob count, so lighting up your caves underneath your base is always something that you want to be doing. So I think once I'm done collecting the rest of this, we can go and... Well, we're going to check out the shopping district because I did a little bit of work there. And once we're done with that, we can start on the build of today. Gotta stock up. As you can see, there's also been some work done on the nether tunnel. I've been a little distracted with my own stuff, so I haven't been able to contribute yet. Whoops. Okay, so we are here in the shopping district, and as you can see, there's been a little bit of work going on at my shop. So we have added a second building. As the first one was not big enough to house all of our items for sale. And why do I hear a spider? Are there mobs underneath my... Hang on. Oh, fun. 1 second. I thought I lit this up. Shame on me. Hang on, let's fix that. Yeah. I added this little kind of like private AFK spot. So if I ever have to run away quickly, then I've got a safe little place to hang out. I guess I didn't light up enough of the area after making the box. But anyway, so this is our new shop. Or rather, our new building within our shop. And this is bedrock wool. So in here, we sell all the different types of wool that we built the sorter for in the last episode. So there's that. And then as you can see, we also added a little bit of extra detail work to the front to make it a little bit more inviting. Fixed up the paths here and just added some more little tiny shrubberies. And of course, we added another custom tree, our prehistoric palm tree. So I took one of the existing tree designs as a base, and then I just changed up the bushes a little bit at the top to give it a bit more of a unique look. And I was trying to make sure that it was good, viewable at every angle. I think I did that. I kind of was hoping that I could have like it pull out a little bit more on this angle, but then it kind of messes up the other angles. But I think from here, which is generally where you want to see it, it's fine. And then since most people are coming from over here, it actually looks really good from this angle. So I think I'm happy with how that one turned out. And the plot actually just feels a little bit more filled and complete because we do have a 20 by 20 area to work with, which is identified by the concrete here. So as long as it's within that and you can kind of push out by like a block with like leaves or trapdoors or whatnot. So I think I'm outside just a little bit on that one block. If they mods want to delete it, they can, but it just kind of helps, make the back look a little bit more flush. But yeah, so I sort of just built this one off the cuff. I did do a little bit of work on it after the initial build. It was looking a little squat, so I raised the roof a little bit. And raise the roof. And so now it's just a little bit more rounded. It's a bit oval on the sides, just because the slabs on the top and bottom, but I think that looks fine. Can't remember if that's what I did with the other boulder builds. the smaller ones, not this one. But yeah, so actually while we're here, let's just do a quick shop and see if we got any sales. I have been keeping up with my sales this week, so we've been making good profits on a little bit of the gold. We sold a bit of the armor here. I actually had to refill the helmets. Oh, looks like we got a couple more sales here. And oh, and the iron's out again, which I can fix shortly. Hang on, let's that should work. And yeah, so moving on, let's take a look at where we're gonna build our big build for the day. But before we do that, I just wanted to kind of point out, I've done a little bit of extra work around the base. I've put up this retaining wall here. I'm trying to figure out what to do with the rest of this here, because I wanted to give it like a front yard kind of vibe to it, and I think the stone kind of works with the whole Flintstones thing as like a substitute for a fence. I might switch to a fence, I don't know yet, but I don't know, I think this looks okay. Obviously this has to stay open. I was debating if I want to pull the wall up this way, or if I want to have it extend and have this kind of rubble bit kind of simulate like a bit of the wall maybe fell down, and then have like the wall come around here. Still deciding. I think I'll probably pull it up on here and just have like the front yard bit just separated from the garage. I think that'll look a little bit more complete, but still thinking on that. And as I mentioned, I've been working on the wall here in between episodes. I haven't done a ton, but as you can see, I've just added a little bit of a kind of a gray stone gradient. Where did I go? If we take a look from our perch here, you can see, so we've got the cobble on the bottom transitioning into a bit of stone and then andesite and a little bit of light gray wool up at the top, just to kind of brighten it up. So it kind of goes from a dark to a light. I think there probably should be some shadow just underneath the walkway itself, since it's kind of like under the overhang. So I may actually need to get some deep slate and maybe put some in there, maybe some tuff. I haven't really taken a hard look at it since I put it up. And then obviously I have to finish the rest of the dirt replacement on the corner here. And this is kind of going to be what the gradient looks like for any of the custom terrain that I do around the area. That donkey's been there for a week. And so yeah, so I think it looks good. I think just kind of building in the blocks that don't naturally generate, like the cobblestone and the light gray wool, kind of gives it a bit of a more custom biome vibe to it, and we'll continue to work on that. It's kind of like what we've been doing here with a lot of the cobblestone mixed into the stone, just to give it a little bit more roughed up kind of vibe to it. And then I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little bit of like just stone slabs just to kind of help with that as well. You can kind of see that I've done that with the cobblestone slabs down here to add a little bit of definition. So I'll continue working on this just kind of off camera, since it is, you know, more grindy, less exciting work. Oh, and speaking of off camera, I've had a couple of visits from one of the other server mates by the name of Dirt1993. I think it started with this one. I was AFK and he left me a slime ball. It says, "Hi neighbor, Dirt." And so I framed it. I then got the inspiration to build the slime farm from last episode. And I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I think that would have been a nice segue, but I forgot. But more importantly, yeah, that led to him coming to visit. And unfortunately, I was not recording. And then the next time I was AFK, which I guess I do a lot, I logged back in and there was a fence post with a dog and a sign that said that Dirt was not able to take care of the dog because he wasn't responsible enough, and now I have to take care of it. Unfortunately, it was his tame dog. You know what happens with a tame dog when you take it off of the leash and the person is still logged in? It teleports to you. So what happened was the dog was not sitting and it decided to walk on the campfire and it started taking damage. I freaked out, took it off the lead, and then poof, teleported away. So I have a feeling that Dirt came back from AFKing to see their damaged dog just sitting in front of them, wondering what the heck happened over here. So Dirt, if you're watching, I'm sorry. It wasn't my fault. The dog was stupid and decided to walk on fire. But anyway, so this is the site of our build today. So we are going to put up a pair of office buildings. So I've got a reference photo. I started with that as the reference photo, and I decided to kind of veer from that a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with a tall building over here, and on this side we're going to build kind of like a more squat, wider building, but it's going to be a little bit more, what's the best way to describe it, a little bit more refined versus the other buildings I've built so far. So these have kind of like looked like, you know, like the dinosaurs or whatever, like ripped a whole boulder, you know, like mixed with a bunch of different raw materials and stuck the whole boulder down, and then, you know, somebody came in and they carved out the interior, right? Whereas this one is going to be, like, the tall one is going to be more of the same, I think, like that. But this one here is more of a lot more thought went into like shaping and cutting individual bricks and putting it together. So it's going to have more of a, like, I'm not going to say modern, because it is still primarily diorite, but it's going to have more of a, like a standard house kind of office kind of look to it, I think. I think that'll be good. I'm also going to be using some black stained glass to simulate just like darkness from the interior. The argument could be made that because this is the industrial district and glass comes from like compressed sand, the idea that like you're digging up like raw materials and then crushing it down and pressing it with heat into a glass-like structure. So these are like the only buildings that have glass in it because like they're just starting to come up with like the technology in order to produce glass, and so they're the ones using it. At least that's my argument for it. I don't know if it looks really out of place, I may remove them later, but I think that's what we're gonna do. So without further ado, let's make sure we have all the materials that we need. I don't think that we do. We do have a whole bunch of diorite, and we need a bunch of acacia, well, a little bit of acacia, and we're gonna need some calcite and a little bit of quartz, I think. And yeah, so let's see, what do we got over here? So now that we've got everything that we need for the build, let's get started. So here are the builds. So as I mentioned before, I went with a more cylindrical tall building for this one so I could fit in the farm, or the breeder, I guess. And for this one, I did that kind of like more kind of right angled, and as you can see, like along the bottom, the middle here, and even if we come up to the top, we're using a bit more of a, I guess like a linear approach. It's definitely got more of a finished kind of polished look to it, like it's been built and not just thrown down on the ground. Obviously, we still kept to the same color palette, so it is very white with that little pop of orange. And left a nice big open area here so we can walk down and into the farm and the villagers themselves. Now, there were a couple of other things that I have been getting up to. As you can see, I also took out the enchanting table here, as well as the fountain. It's just sitting in a box over in the village hall right now. we'll put it somewhere else. Probably get a dedicated build for that or something. Yeah, so we also did a bit more just light terraforming and getting more roads and paths in. And believe we built ourselves another tree. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Might have been that one. I don't know. Built a lot of trees lately. And yeah, so I also did a little bit of work here. Kind of just swapped out the stone brick walls. So yeah, so we got rid of the stone brick walls, replaced them with diorite walls just to kind of lighten up the wall a little bit. I was talking to Harding about it, and he seemed to think that like we need to kind of more closely match the wall palette, just because, or not the wall palette, the build palette of the main buildings, just because everything's made in white on the show. So we want to kind of match that, and then just kind of lean into the cobblestone walls a little bit, just to add a little bit of extra gradient. Like, you know, it's been worn and kind of run down a little bit, so it's faded in its sheen a little bit. And I think I was going to say that's going to do it, but there's one other thing. I just want to let everybody know that the post office is now open, and I was able to get myself set up with a post office. I was going to say a post office account, a mailbox. So you can see here, we've got the mailbox set up now. And so if anybody wants to send me mail that's on the server, feel free. Mine and Harding's box, it's just the one box since we both live at the base together. So yeah, if you want to mail me or Harding anything and you're on the server, feel free to do it that way. And I'll check it periodically. And I think that's going to do it for today. If you liked what you saw, want to see more, or you know, maybe you want to see some of my redstone builds, check out my other videos. Today was a bit more of a buildy episode. But if you liked what you saw, want to see more, check out my other videos, leave a like, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment, and I will see you next time. Take care, everyone.